Good morning, my friends. Kiki, Lovelace here. I am the owner and director of education at Innerstellar Pilates and Yoga Studio, which is a brick and mortar studio here in Berkeley, California. And now we are an online studio as of 2 months ago. And I wanted to pop on today to share with you guys some insights. I've been working with a knee injury for the last 3.5 weeks. I'm calling it my quarantine knee. It's not the first injury I've had since sheltering in place started. I feel like I'm more injury prone now that I'm older or something, or I don't know. I'm still nursing my toddler, and I know that extended nursing or just nursing in general just like changes your ligaments and your joints and just makes you more tweakable. So maybe that's it. I don't know. But anyways, I was going to sit back on my knees, like kind of kneel back. One day when I was doing my yoga practice, actually, and I wasn't in a yoga pose. I was just transitioning and doing gonna mess with my hair, and I heard a little pop in my knee, and it wasn't like a major pop in the knee, but I was like, ooh, that didn't feel good. And yeah, it's been really tender and really sore, and I've been nursing it ever since. So that was about 3 weeks ago. Hey, I can see you're here. If you're here, give me some hearts and some likes. I can see people are joining now. So here's what I want to share with you guys. The 3 things I've been doing that have been really helping it heal, and my hands are on it right now. I'm rubbing it as I'm talking. So number 1, I'll talk about all these in detail. Prioritize rest. Number 2, get curious. And number 3, tune in and listen. Now I'm going to tell you how to do those things. Okay, so one of the first things I learned when I was a baby healer, and this is after I had taken, or actually during my first Pilates teacher training, which was in 2001. Oh my God, so many years ago. Hey, Jennifer, welcome. Was an old school acronym. It's called RICE, and it stands for Rest, Ice, Compression, Elevation. And I feel like doctors don't really talk about this anymore. It was like more the thing, back in the 80s and 90s. But the truth is, it's like ingrained in me now, and I always do this when I'm nursing an acute injury. So rest is amazing. I've been finding that like sometimes when I overdo it a little bit in my knee and it feels really irritated at the end of the day, then I go to sleep and it's like so much better. Oh my God, it's amazing how rest is helpful. Okay, Jennifer saying, LOL, totally sprained my knee last week running with my dog. I know, seriously, quarantine knee. Okay, so rest. And I've been prioritizing this. Like I've been sleeping a lot during quarantine, like literally 10 hours a night. I mean, I'm not asleep the entire time, but I'm in my bed for much longer than usual. So I've been feeling my body's really craving rest, and I've been noticing my knee feels better. Icing has been totally helping. Compression, I like to wrap it. Not every day, but like some days. Like I think today I'll put my brace on because it makes, I don't know why, but just the pressure of it feels better. And then the elevation part, yeah, I've been finding that it needs to be like propped up on a pillow. And oftentimes during the night I have to move in different positions to get it up because if I straighten it, it seems to get irritated. So that's the first thing I've been doing. And that's to me like the backbone of nursing an injury. And I can't even tell you guys, I've been working with people because we specialize in chronic pain and injuries at my studio, like for almost 10 years. And even for 10 years before that when I was a full-time Pilates and yoga teacher. And I just can't even tell you how many people ignore their injuries. And you probably do too. I think that's what we think resting is. Ignore. That's not what resting is. Resting, it's like an active rest. That's really what we want to be doing in order to heal our injuries. So rest, ice, compression, elevation. Okay, number 2 is get curious. So I've been just studying my knees. What does it like? What does it not like? What is it responding to? It's very much liking this Tea Relief pain cream. It's like an arnica cream that I love. It's a homeopathic remedy. So I rub that on it every day or every other day. It likes certain kinds of movement, it likes walking and riding bikes, but it doesn't like certain yoga poses. I've been noticing that when I straighten it in a loaded pose, even though my hamstring's kind of tight and I want to stretch it, half moon is not feeling good right now. So I've been really hunting that out. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much. So I've been really hunting that out. What else? I've noticed it really likes when I do things that spread my foot bones. I've been doing a lot of foot foot massage and like rolling out my feet on the mini balls. And I've been enjoying some different Pilates moves that I do for my gait and for my calves and my legs and stuff. So I've been really enjoying that. But yeah, so this is part of what you'll need to do if you have an injury is just get curious. And, you know, like for me personally, I'm like an active person and I like to be active. So sometimes I overdo it, you know, but that's to me, it's just like, okay, let me just get curious about that and like lesson learned. I'm not going to keep doing that and keep re-injuring it. If I realize that something's not working, then I will change it and do something different. But in general, my knee has been enjoying like, walking, biking, my Pilates practices, and then certain yoga movements feel great, and then other ones are not feeling so great. The last thing I've been doing is I've been tuning in and listening. And this is, to me, a more advanced skill that I've learned as a yogini over the last couple of decades, is recognizing and realizing that my body has messages. It has messages all day long, and so that's my job, is to breathe and feel and tune in and listen. And so, I felt this over the years. I mean, I have like a chronic pain body, and I am prone to injury. So I have a lot of experience in listening in. Come really fast. Like literally in a breath in my yoga practice, I can get like a deep spiritual mystical download about like what my neck or shoulder is telling me. But this knee injury has been a little slower to communicate with me. Like, what does it really want or need? For me personally, I believe that every injury has a spirit request or a spirit lesson. And so there's something in there for me emotionally, mentally, spiritually for me to uncover and to clear and to digest and to move forward with more pep in my step, with more lightness, you know, which is actually maybe one to grow on there. So that's my invitation to you, is like, the resting is so important. Get curious about what's working and be intelligent. Make choices once you discover what's working, what's not working. Don't continue to do the thing that's not working. And then this last part is like, tune in and listen. What is the message that your body is asking you? Because if it's in pain, it's definitely asking you to do something different. And that might be just physical, which we all love to think it's just physical, but it might be connected more to your nervous system, to your heart, to your sense of purpose in the world, to your relationships. So get curious about that, my friends. Hey, Victoria. Welcome. Hi, Leah. So I want you guys to know that we at Innerstellar have mounted this incredible offering for this Friday. It's called Yoga Basics for Chronic Pain and Injuries, and it is a free class that we're offering. I'll put the comments in the links below. It's taught by one of our amazing level 4 certified Forrest yoga teachers, Audrey Lane Geis, who's just a wonderful human. I'm so thrilled to have her on our staff. And she's an amazing healer. She's so wise. And we're going to be teaching you some of these skills, like how do you actually listen in? How do you differentiate between movement that is healing and movement that is harming? That's not a skill that most of us come into the world with. It's actually something that we learn over time, and Forrest Yoga is especially helpful in teaching people how to do that. It's really taught me how to do that in a million ways. So I'll put the link for that below. It's a free class. Come on Friday. It's at what time is it? 2:30 PST. We'll see you there. Bye, everybody.